Alright guys, so today we're kind of taking a break a little bit from the square root functions. I mean, we're still going to be talking about them, but we're also going to talk about other types of functions and the things that we can do with them. So in our notes, in our table of contents, we're going to add page 79 and 80. We're going to call it function operations. The little sheet that you should have in front of you, you should just fold in half like a little book, and if you want to cut out all the little doors, you can. So function operations, and then going to page 78 or 79 and 80, I'm just going to put our function operations on page 80. And truly, this is kind of something that we've already done a little bit, so I think it's actually in our notes somewhere already. Let me sneak a little peek. Well, I thought it was, but I could be wrong. That's okay. We're going to talk about it right now anyways. It's super duper easy. So remember, if I have something like f of x and g of x, those are just names of functions. So somewhere they're going to tell you what those functions are. So for our examples that we're going to try, we're going to say that f of x is the function for square root of x plus 7. And then we're also going to say that g of x is a different function, and we're going to call it the square root of x plus 2. So they don't have to involve square roots. Like, these are just the examples that I picked, and some of the examples you might see in your homework won't have square roots, and so that's super fun. But if you're looking at f of x plus g of x, you're just going to take those two things and add them together. They might write it, and this kind of got cut off, parenthesis f plus g of x. You literally just take this thing and add them together. So on the inside, that's what I'm going to write. Since f of x is 4 square root of x plus 7, and g of x is square root of x plus 2, I'm just going to write those things down and then combine like terms if we can. Now, whenever I substitute, I put things in parentheses, but there's nothing outside them, so I don't really need to worry about them. I can combine the square roots of x because they're both square roots of x, so I have 5 square root of x, and then I can add the 7 and 2 because they're the same, so plus 9. And that would be it. I'm not solving for anything, I'm just rewriting a new function, which is the sum of the two functions that I had. Okay? If you don't have any like terms to add, then it's just going to look like a really long addition problem. The next type we have is subtraction, and it just looks like f of x minus g of x, or it might look like this got cut off, f minus g of x. Again, you're not really solving for anything. You're not going to figure out how much x is. You're just taking the two functions, which are still the same functions, but now you're subtracting them. And this is a little bit trickier than addition, only because the second thing that you're subtracting, you have to subtract the whole thing. So when I write this down, again, substituting with parentheses, I got 4 square root of x plus 7 minus the square root of x plus 2. Now the parentheses kind of do matter. This one doesn't, but over here, both these things are being subtracted, so you need to make sure that you distribute your negative. So we got 4 square root of x plus 7 minus the square root of x minus 2. And so now when we combine our like terms, 4 square root of x minus square root of x is 3 square root of x. 7 minus 2 is 5. Sorry, that was our final answer before. This is our final answer now. So they are different. Okay. Another thing that we could do with functions is multiply them. So you might see something like f of x times g of x, or again in the parentheses, f times g of x. So you're just going to take those two functions and multiply them. So in parentheses, 4 square root of x plus 7 times square root of x plus 2. And since I'm timesing two numbers by two numbers, that really means that I need to FOIL. So we got to think first, outer, inner, last. So first times first would be 4 square root of x squared. I can multiply the x's inside. Outer would be 8 square root of x. Inner is 7 square root of x. And then last is 14. Now, the square root of x squared is just x, so, excuse me, that becomes 4x. And then if I look through, I can combine these two because they're both square roots of x. But I can't combine the 4x and the 14. So we're going to have 4x plus 15 square root x plus 14. And I can't combine anything else, so that is as simplified as I can get. The last one that we're going to do today is division. And division is probably kind of the easiest, aside from one little extra thing. So basically, you're going to see something like f over g of x, or like this, f of x over g of x. But this little thing right here is what's kind of weird. That's just saying that your denominator can't be 0, which is true. You can't have your denominator be 0 because you can't divide by 0. So to make sure that we don't, we have to kind of restrict our values a little bit. So on the inside here, if I think about our f of x, that was the 4 square root of x plus 7. That whole thing is being divided by g of x, which is the square root of x plus 2. And I can't simplify any of that stuff, although I guess I'm not really supposed to leave roots in the denominator. So we'd have to rationalize that and multiply by the conjugate. So square root of x minus 2 on top and bottom. This is going to probably run off into the page over here. So on the bottom, when I do conjugates, I don't have to worry about outer and inner. I can just do first times first, which will be the square root of x squared, and last times last. So negative 4, the square root of x and x squared cancel out. So my new denominator is just x minus 4. In the numerator, we got to do full-on FOIL because it's 2 numbers times 2 numbers. So 4 square root of x times square root of x is 4 square root of x squared. Outer is going to be negative 8 square root x. Inner is 7 square root x. And last is negative 14. The square root of x squared is just going to be x. I can combine these two in the middle. So we'll have 4x minus 1 square root of x minus 14 over x minus 4. But again, the bottom can't be 0. So you have to think about, because that's not just a number down there, you have to think about what would make that 0. So because if x was 4, 4 minus 4 would be 0, you have to include that x cannot be 4. So this is your total answer right there. So that's kind of the only weird one. Essentially, to find this value, you take whatever your denominator is and set it equal to 0, and then just solve. So add the 4, and you get that x equals 4. But most of the time, I think it's pretty obvious, and you can just kind of think about it. So that's it for today. I know there's one more thing here, the composition thing. We'll talk about that one together in class tomorrow because it's a little bit weirder. So good luck on your homework.